1, 2, 3. Jake, that was really good. I was trying to play the guitar like you might want to sing it, so not adding any harmony type of things in, because I wanted to hear all the color chords that you were playing, helping lead the progression along, and that's what the lesson is all about today. It's about borrowing from other chords shapes into chord shapes that we might normally use to create more color
new
and
shapes.
Emotion. Yeah, new shapes. So Banjo Ben, Jake Stogdill here from Banjo Ben's General Store in Exeter, Missouri is where we're filming at today, but let us pause for a station identification. Bum-ba-da-dum! Thank you, Jake.
You're welcome.
And if you're watching here at BanjoBenClark.com as a Gold Pick member, you're going to have access to this full lesson and all the resources. If you're watching somewhere else like YouTube or Facebook and so on, I'd love to have you on board as a Gold Pick member. You get access to 800 plus lessons on many instruments and part of a really cool community there that helps spur one another on to be better pickers. So come see us there. Jake, let's learn how to create more color in our chords by borrowing from other chord shapes. It's going to be fun.
It will.
All right. Jake, first I must compliment you on your guitar, sir.
It's a wonderful guitar.
What
Can
is
I
that
have
one?
it?
No. What is that one?
This is a Santa Cruz Tony Rice
Oh, man.
model. Yeah.
Well, this is the Gallagher kind of version of that. They call it the Rice of Tony, and I'm in love with it. In fact, I'm going to take it home.
Sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious. And, man, so thankful I have these guitars to play today. And if you want to check more out, you can go to the store and check those out too. Hey, Jake, if you had to give like a 30-second elevator pitch for this lesson and what we're going to learn to do today, what would it be?
Well, I'm scared of elevators. I always take the stairs. So,
So a two-flight
yeah,
stair
two-flight. Okay, yeah. Okay, so a lot of people watching will probably know the concept of to move from one chord to another, you can change a note to point to that chord, and what they'll probably be most familiar with is the G, G7 to C,
to
right?
a C chord.
Right, because what that does is your G note, then your flat 7 note of the G scale points to the third tone in the C chord, which is the E note.
Right.
So that's kind of an overview of the concept. But what I find very interesting about what you can do with that is all we're doing in that situation is adding an F note to a G chord. You can add a full F chord there to change the weight of it to really make it dramatic, you know. So whereas you're hearing, you could also go.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Okay. Now here's where the lesson part comes in. The overview. It's kind of a visual thing that helps me to explain this. But if you had like a projector, you remember back in school when they had the little clear sheets that they could write whatever they want on. If you imagine a chord chart on one of those clear sheet projectors of a G chord and of an F chord, and you just overlaid the two, you can choose any combination of notes from any one of those to change the weight and the sound of that chord, and it's fully effective and functional at moving from the G to the C, or from the root to the 4.
Good stuff. So. And I think unlocking a bit of our application of theory, right? Because you can buy a chord book and learn 100 different chords, but it's until you understand what these chord variations are, until you really begin to understand them, can you actually use them where you want to use them. I mean, we can piece things together and say, well, this guy uses this chord over here, let me try it here. That's fine. That's how we explore. But when you really understand this concept, you can begin to build your own guitar rhythm.
Yep. Basically, you know a G chord, you know an F chord. with just that, you don't have to know anything else. You can build all kinds of interesting chords to go from a G to a C by using that flat 7.
Very cool. Yeah. So in this lesson, we'll look at a bunch of those variations. I want you to show us just a couple here, just to give people an idea before we go to the next little video segment where we actually break all this down. But then we'll also go to a C position. So, most often you're playing out of a G, a C, or a D position.
Yeah.
You're, of course, using all 3 of those chords when you're playing out of the key of G, but I'm talking about actual key positions. So we'll learn how to do that with each of those dominant chords, each of those 7th chords, to learn how to point to the 4 of that key, too. So we'll do that in the lesson as well. So just give us a couple of examples just so people can complete the idea in their head of what it means to overlay this G and F.
There's a lot.
I'll play along with you so they can hear
Yeah, we could just do that one we used on the intro to go from one to the other, one chord to the other. But one that I like to use a lot, I guess, to get right into it, is this shape here, which is index finger on the B note, ring finger on the F, middle finger on the A, pinky on the D. And that might look like a weird shape that's difficult, but it's actually, if you think of it like this, you're just taking a D chord and you're hopping it up and again, and then you're adding your pinky under it.
Okay.
So this is already familiar to you. You're just doing a D here, adding the pinky.
Yeah.
That's a quick way for someone to get into that chord.
And what I'd like for you to do is go back to that chord shape, remove your middle 2 fingers, and what do we have there?
That's just a G.
We have partial G chord, right?
Right. We have a B note, a D note, a G note, and a D. So like if I were playing a G chord,
you're already playing those 2 strings.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now go back to that chord shape.
Yep.
And now remove your outer 2 chords, or outer 2 fingers. And what we've got there is the guts of an F chord.
Right. Yeah, your F.
Okay, that's a perfect example for, I think for people to visualize all the different variations that we can get into merging these G and F chords to create these color chords, we might call them.
Right. So what we did there, we took the outside by using the actual physical nature of the guitar, the outside notes of a G chord, and put the inside notes of the F chord between it. Yeah. That's all we did. And I don't even have to know why. Right. That's the beauty about this concept. All I have to know is like these 2 notes are in my G, these 2 notes are in my F, and I just combine them for that. Okay.
So let's play Bury Me Beneath the Willow again, and you use that going from your G to C chord.
I might just do diamonds too.
Yeah,
on that. Okay.
1, 2, 2, 2. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, I love it. So let's do that. Let's loop that a couple times. Do a regular G7 chord the first time, and then do that chord just so people can hear the variance in the different colors.
Okay.
So much richer, right?
Yeah.
And that particular song lends itself to that. It's an emotive song, so it lends itself to these rich chords.
More weight.
Yeah. Very, very good.
Yeah. Okay. And really, the only structurally, the only thing different we did between the 2, aside from the register that the pitch we find the notes at, is that A note. We added the A note. Otherwise, the notes of the chord itself were exactly the same both
as
times.
As a G7.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
We added one more color note to it.
We pulled that 7 note from right there that people may be used to playing it to an octave lower, and then just added an A note.
Added an A note above it.
Exactly. All right, cool. In our next little video segment, we're going to look at, you have another 11 or so variations of that chord that we'll take a shot at. And then also look at the C and D positions, which are going to start talking to one another in our various keys as well.
Yeah.
All right. If you're watching here on the website, you've got this full video lesson for your enjoyment. And if you're watching somewhere else, I'd love to have you come on board the site, BanjoBenClark.com. There's hundreds more lessons like this one.